Our first spooky location brings us to the former Ponce de Leon Hotel, which is now Flagler College. Built in 1888, first served as a historical Flagler Hotel, which closed in '67, and then was sold and became what it is today, Flagler College, from 1968. So one of the most enduring legends at Flagler College is our woman in black. Former student Corey recounts a chilling experience from her freshman year when her roommate saw a figure dressed in black standing at the foot of Corey's bed. The figure, thought to be Corey herself, did not respond when spoken to and eventually moved to the corner of the room where it continued to watch her night after night. So the apparition is just one of many reported at this very college. So Henry Flagler, who held unconventional religious beliefs and practices, is also said to haunt the college. At his death, Flagler ordered that all windows and doors to the properties be left open to ensure his spirit could move freely. However, during his funeral, a janitor at Flagler College closed all the doors and windows, allegedly trapping Flagler's spirit within the building. Some claim that his ghost still roams the halls of his cherished hotel turned college. So another spectral presence said to haunt the college is that of Flagler's second wife, Ida Alice Flagler, who suffered from mental illness and was institutionalized by Flagler's. A further tale involves one of Flagler's mistresses, an actress who reportedly died at this very hotel when it was a hotel. According to legend, Flagler would hide his mistress in a room on the 4th floor. A room lined with mirrors was used to make a psychomantrum, a space designed for contacting the dead. The actress supposedly experienced something in that room that drove her to madness, and she eventually hung herself from a chandelier. And the room is now used for storage, as a student refused to live there due to reports of nighttime screams and shaking beds. So, interesting history here, guys. So, if you notice, from what I have researched, is the 4th floor seems to be over on this side, over here on this side of the college. So we're going to go out here and take a look at it. Now, if you notice, right outside the gates as we come out the entrance, right by the Ponce de Leon Hotel sign here, where you can read all the history about the hotel. But here's what I've kind of found interesting. Supposedly, the 4th floor where his mistress existed was up in this portion of the hotel / now college. Was right up here, up on the 4th story, up on this end of the building. Now, at nighttime, probably not. You can kind of see the windows up there, but during the nighttime, people talk about seeing her ghostly face appearing up on that 4th story. Pretty creepy. It'd be interesting to come here at night and see what we could discover. We might do that sometime. And our next spooky place brings us to the old jail of St. John's. So the old jail, St. Augustine, Florida, established in 1891. Located at 167 San Marco Avenue, the old jail was home to incarcerated prisoners for 60 years. Joseph Perry, which served as a town sheriff at his time was very intimidating. As you can see him sitting here, he was 6 feet 6 inches tall and 300 pounds. So this is where they would take you if you did not listen to Old Joe. They also had the old jail, the old bird cage here. So basically they would tie a chain or a rope up to that, string it up in one of the trees, and hang them there for days as a punishment. There's also another stockade that is right here as well, where they would leave people out here in the rain and all types of weather, whether it be raining or in the heat of the day. But as you know, Florida is incredibly hot most of the time. So they do offer here at the old jail, St. Augustine, Florida, they do offer some opportunities to be a prisoner yourself. I don't know if I would want to do that myself. Anyways, so now the jail, as you see here, is roughly the same size from the front of the jail here to the back of the jail. Housed 150 inmates. As also on the lower level of the jail contains cells for inmates facing death row sentences, and eerily you can see on the walls where death row inmates would carve their execution dates on the walls of the cells. Cell walls, actually. Here's some footage of that we actually took while we were here doing our tour.
Engravings on the walls from previous occupants who marked the dates of their executions. Now you're going to notice as you go inside, a lot of those dates are from the 40s. No, we were not doing hangings in the 40s. No. But then we were civilized using the electric chair.
You can actually see the dates here.
And we didn't do the electric chair
1949.
in this jail, by the way. We did that start Florida,
May
about 50 miles.
20th, 1948.
They still are one of the largest jails.
I don't know what that's a Talican.
Now across from death row is the
There's some more dates
cell.
over here. It's pretty wild.
We weren't technically supposed to keep felons at this jail. Typically, if you commit
Another
a
one,
felony
February
crime, you're shipped off to the state
19th.
penitentiary up in Tallahassee.
I don't know what that says. 29, I guess. So 8 prisoners were executed on the gallows located behind this building as we're looking at now. So the prison is said to be haunted by an inmate, Charlie Powell, who reportedly died a particularly slow death on the gallows. Now, during the time of the execution of Charlie Powell, had a plan and was not ready to be executed, so therefore he plays dead. Now, you may say, what is the big deal? Just put the noose around his neck and hang him. Well, during this time, Florida stated that a man had to walk to his own gallows. Now, if we look here, this is the gallows where he was actually hung from these gallows here, Charlie Powell. So the story then goes on to say that Joe Perry strapped a board to old Charlie Powell and walked him up the gallows himself, and once standing at the gallows, he put the noose around his neck. Now, Joe Perry didn't remove the board before hanging Charlie Powell, adding an additional 10 pounds. Therefore, Charlie dropped straight through and down, boom, to the ground, sparing his life. Then the next time they attempted the hanging, the rope slipped down around Charlie's chin, and then Charlie passed out after 10 minutes, and then brutally 4 minutes until Charlie finally passed on from this very spot. Now, behind where you see that train is, there were people that would come and stand and to watch this happen. So old Joe Perry made thousands of dollars upon this event. Now, the jail does boast daily tours and nighttime spooky tours to catch cases of the paranormal. But during our visit here are 2 clips that we believe were exclusive to Paranormal Experience.
I guess we weren't thinking that through, huh? Yeah, on average, it is about 120 to 140 degrees in here. Heat stroke is pretty much inevitable for the women of our jail. Very unfortunate. But enough talk about death and murder, you know? We've been talking about dying for like 10 minutes. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful serving our sentences.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy your freedom.
Thank
There
you.
you go, there you go. Don't do anything, get back here. That's what I would
One starts in the kitchen in the jail. You can see if one of the corners of the room, it seems to move or shake on its own. Also, while we were exploring the jail, the audio cuts right out on the second clip. We were about, throughout the entire time we were here, the audio never cut out, only until the time we went and started exploring. And then it cut right back on when we did leave out to the parking lot to get in our car and leave the facility. So it's pretty wild. Some little spooky history for you here at the spooky old time jail. So if you are wanting some guidance from the local experts, you should check out some of St. Augustine's world famous ghost tours and other haunted attractions. Me and my wife personally, we have taken 3 ghost tours here. One was with a hearse that had the open back end to it. And secondly, we did one that was called the Odd Macabre. And also the third one being graveyards and gravestones. Pretty interesting. But I'm standing here in this alleyway, about to get hit by cars, because cars do come in here and it's pretty tight. So, and there goes a buggy right there full of people. But let's go check out where the second place we went, Odd Macabre. So this is where the Odd Macabre used to be, where they would give out ghost tours. This is the second ghost tour that we actually did, and inside there was actually a really cool, spooky looking things that they had on display. This is probably one of the best ones that we did. They have since moved their offices to Georgia, but they still do some St. Augustine tours here as well. You can check out their website, oddmacabre.com, I believe is the website, or you can Google search it. But they still do some things here in St. Augustine, and they also do some tours in Georgia as well. Pretty interesting place. Here's a little bit of footage of what this place used to look like. So here we are at the Spooky Ghost Tour. I think I just saw something move inside here, but we're waiting to be checked in. They got a pretty cool little spooky Christmas tree here. Some lady skeleton there. And also some little oddities. Some little oddities that they have in here. Pretty cool. Got little bird necklaces here. $74 for that. $250 for this heart necklace thing. Pretty sweet. And some other little dolls and stuff down here. So anyway, so I have these little suckers here. This is kind of cool. This one says RIP on it. They have different little teas. Different teas here. And also some candles. And some more creepy dolls. Down here. A witch's hat. Edgar Allan Poe. One of my favorites. Anyways, and they also have some scary books in there. Now, being on the Odd Macabre tour, we did learn quite a bit of things. So let's touch on a few things that we did learn. Welcome to the historic gates of St. Augustine. Provided not only protection, but provided a one-way in/out of the city. At the gates, it hosts 2 large pillars, as you see here. And in the opening, it is said that there are paranormal events that have happened captured in these openings. We caught an apparition which looks to be like a spooky face looking back at us. So this is where we came one night to. We actually snapped a photo, and the openings I'm speaking of is here along one of the pillars, and then also on the second pillar as well. Do you see a spooky face in there? So one story happened about 16 miles south of St. Augustine. So this direction heading south at the Matanzas Inlet by the Matanzas River. So now during this time, the French soldiers were attacking the Spanish fleet that existed here in St. Augustine. The French soldiers' boat had capsized, leading them to come ashore in St. Augustine. So the massacre of Matanzas Inlet refers to the killing of a large group of French Huguenot sailors by Spanish forces. They were led by Pedro Menendez, where the bodies of the victims were indeed dumped into the Matanzas River, which you see here today. Near the present-day location of Matanzas Inlet in Florida, the name Matanzas itself translates to massacre in Spanish, directly referencing that event. So the bodies were dumped 16 miles just south this way. So no telling today where those bodies ended up. So another interesting fact, as we look at one of the most historical cemeteries located here in St. Augustine, is learning the origin Saved by the Bell. Now in the 17th century, people were sometimes mistakenly declared dead or buried alive. To prevent this, they were buried with a bell tied around their body so they could signal for help if they woke up. A person would stand guard by the grave for 24 hours, listening for the bell to ring. So, and if the bell rang, the person would be dug up and saved by the bell. There's where the phrase comes from. Now, this also provided a new label for workers that worked the night shift, as you guessed it, the graveyard shift. That's where that originated from, that phrase. But if you notice in some of these grave sites, specifically, there's one like right up here, that does have a cover over the top of it. Now they did cover those and then cement them in because they had issues of flooding in this area. Therefore, raising the bodies up out of the grave sites and moving them, actually. So that's why you would see some of these that actually have covers on them and some do not. That is why. Pretty awesome history lesson. Saved by the Bell. There you go. So our third and final ghost tour was the Ghosts and Gravestones. Take your seat on a trolley of the doomed and prepare yourself for the strange and unearthly occurrences that transpire in the dead of the night. Your ghost guide will captivate you with tales of St. Augustine's darker side. Be on the ghost tour and beyond the haunting tales of St. Augustine's chilling past. And here we end our spooky destinations. This is the St. Augustine Lighthouse. So during the construction of this historic lighthouse in 1873, 5 children were playing it on a rail car, as the children were apparently known to do at the time. While playing, the brakes on the rail car broke, and the children were thrown into the ocean. Only 2 of them survived. It is said that 3 of the children who unfortunately died in the accident still haunt the lighthouse to this day. So within the lighthouse walls, it is said to be haunted by many spirits and visitors. Have had many creepy interactions. One is the man in blue, a terrifying specter that some say is the ghost of a lighthouse keeper, Joseph Andrew, who died in 1859 while painting at the top of the lighthouse. Others say it's the spirit of another lighthouse keeper who hanged himself in the tower. So, at the very top of this tower was Joseph Andrew, and while he was up there painting the top of this tower, he fell from the top of that tower all the way to the ground. Secondly, there is a pleasant young lady, a ghost that rarely interacts with visitors. And then thirdly, is the presence of cigar smoke. Visitors and staff report a strong smell of cigar smoke on the tower landing, even though smoking is prohibited by the lighthouse. And then fourth, reports of boots coming up the stairs. The current lighthouse keeper says he hears boots coming up the stairs at night, but no one is there when he turns around. Lastly, we reported at this very site is this playground right over here. So, legend has it that the swings at night will swing back and forth on their own, as it is believed that this is the ghosts of the girls that were in that cart that passed away that very day. And this playground is right here. And here lies the swing sets that mysteriously swing back and forth late at night, which is believed to be the ghostly girls that have came back looking for their cart. And so that ends our ghostly interaction, our ghostly places to visit while you're here in St. Augustine. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what is your favorite scary place to come when you come to St. Augustine.